Hello and welcome back to the United Enigma, guys. I know it's been a little while, but I had to get some things done, had to get some things sorted. And now we're back with a preview, our first preview on the channel for the United versus Brighton game. This is a match that's had quite a few things going on typically throughout historically anyway, since Brighton have come back to the Premier League. We had the last minute Neil Maupay handball, that scumbag handballed it, Bruno getting the penalty, and the first ever goal scored obviously after the whistle had been blown in, I'd say, whether it's football or Premier League history at the very least. It is a game that I expect great things from, knowing that both teams, they do try to play good football. And strangely enough, we're actually in a position where there's a lot of you fans out there thinking that Man United are in a position where we're not favourites at home to Brighton, yeah? Okay, so apparently we're not favourites to Brighton. Cool. So that means then if we do beat them, and you know what, I'll go on to say when we beat Brighton on Saturday, I want all you rival fans to pull up and explain yourself, yeah? I want you to pull up and explain yourself, because I'm not trying to hear it. All this Brighton hype, the Zerbi hype, I'm not trying to hear it anymore. They're going to come to Old Trafford, and just like what we've been doing to all other teams when they've pulled up to OT, is putting them in a spliff. We're going to treat Brighton the way they're meant to be treated. This is a manager who said himself he prioritizes playing pretty football, sexy football, over getting results. That's the manager we're coming up against. There's been turmoil over this international break. Man United are a mess right now. We better galvanise and hit this match big. Put Brighton in a pack. Send them back to the beach. Simple. Anyway, I'm going to break it down now. What you see on my right hand side is the lineup that me personally, I would like to see based upon what we have currently at the club. We don't have much. Because of the injuries, we are being ravaged by injuries at the moment. In fact, at some point, I'll actually bring up a chart that I've got showing you all the injuries Man United have got, and it is scary to see. So, you guys look to my right. You can see Onana in goal, of course. We're not trying to see Bayinda, Turkish Delight, ain't seen enough of him, but I'm not trying to see him in goal today, or on Saturday, should I say. Onana in net. AWB at right back. This one is key. This one right here is very key, and it's very important to how Man United are going to do in this game. But I'll just show you here. This brings me on to one of the talking points. This here. AWV versus Mitoma. This is a key battle. It's going to be one of the areas of the pitch which could potentially decide the game in favour for Brighton or Wan-Bissaka. Mitoma himself proclaimed that Wan-Bissaka is the most difficult fullback he's played against in the Premier League. He talked about obviously the physicality and the fact that anytime you shift the ball past him, he just seems to materialise his leg and hook it around. We saw it in the FA Cup semi-final. We saw it in the league last year as well. Mitoma dances around people like Trent, has them in a spliff routinely across the season. But the minute he comes against Wan-Bissaka, it's never the same. Wan-Bissaka has had his number on a number of occasions now. However, for a player of that quality, at any point, you don't know what he can do, especially with the fact that, and we'll go on to him, the rest of our defence is looking a lot weaker than we've been accustomed to, having Licha and Veranda. If he somehow manages to make half a yard against Wan-Bissaka, then we've got either Lindelof or Maguire potentially in that area now that he's facing. Could be curtains for us. So there's going to be a lot of responsibility on Wan-Bissaka to win pretty much all of his individual duels versus Mitoma, because I can say that the likes of Maguire and Lindelof potentially won't be doing much if it comes to last ditch defending from them. We go back now to the lineup. As I was speaking about before, we've got Martinez and Lindelof. This is what I would like to see. I don't tend to live like this, but I myself, I'm actually living on a bit of hopium at the moment. He went off, Martinez, with Argentina, went off, had a little medical scans, realised that, you know, he is relatively fit, but not fit enough that it's worth the risk in just an international friendly. So essentially, he was put onto the sidelines, which is a benefit for Man United. Great for us, but it still does leave it up in the air as to whether Martinez is truly fit and ready and firing for this game. And that is the worry that I've got currently, because Martinez, not just defensively, but in build-up, he is essential to us being able to move the ball through the lines, and especially with how well Brighton press. If we have issues moving it between the lines, we could have a repeat potentially of the Arsenal game. We're able to control the ball very well in that first phase in our third. Then the minute we're trying to move the ball through the lines, it's curtains for us. But hopefully, that's where the inclusion of the next person I'm going to speak about, Amrabat, could be essential. People seem to think that Amrabat is some sort of a hatchet man. He's a Graham Souness. He's a, what was that guy called, Gareth Barry? Goes around kicking man in the midfield. No. Don't get me wrong. Amrabat can clamp you up. Amrabat can definitely clamp you up in the midfield. However, he also registered the most progressive passes in Serie A last season for Fiorentina. Meaning that this is a player who, as much as he can kick you into the ground, he can also do the pretty sexy stuff on the pitch as well. Which at the end of the day is what you need at the elite level. So hopefully the inclusion of Amrabat into this midfield today provides some physicality to deal with the energy that Brighton possess, but also allow us to start moving the ball more frequently into your Hoijlund, into your Rashford. And for me, what I would like to see is Pelestri, but we'll go on to that. Dalot at left back, not really too much to talk about here. Shaw's obviously injured. Egregious injury, to be honest. From what I've heard, I'm sure a lot of you guys have heard about that as well. His injury, what we're talking about here, is a guy who, because of the number of games that he played last season and the strain of the actual injury, he got the leg break. He has it's sort of like a compound injury almost, where all that stress from the additional load played from the amount of games that he played last year is caused a problem where now you have his body's had a negative response caused by the previous leg break injury, which is something that'll always be there. So I'm just hoping and praying that this is not the beginning of the end for sure, because this could be a recurring theme now moving forward. That last season's number of games could have been one step too far for his body. We'll have to see though. Dalot was amazing versus Arsenal, so obviously he keeps his place. Very simple. I'm not trying to see Reguilon on there. Guy couldn't even get into the team for Tottenham, so I'm not trying to see Reguilon in this game. Dalot was good last match, deserved to keep his place. Nice and simple. Now on to Casemiro. Midfield general, very simple, nice and easy one here. He's just going to hold down the midfield for us. No, thou shalt not pass. Very simple, just like he did in the semi-final versus Brighton. Just cleaning up everything, and especially if it's not going to be Martinez and Lindelof, when I flip over the slide, if it is going to be Maguire and Lindelof, he is going to be needed, because best believe he's going to have to clean up after Maguire. You know that, I know that. Already talked about Amrabat and his inclusion into this game. Bruno Fernandes, our captain. This one here, in terms of his position, could potentially be a contentious one when I show you the next slide, because of where I think Ten Hag may play Bruno. This is my personal lineup, what I want to see. However, this is not what I think will end up happening due to circumstances with injuries and how the manager sort of showed himself in the way he operates. Bruno playing as a cam, the right hand side at 8, no worries at all with that. It's good, no qualms. However, if I flip over to the next slide now, this is where we could potentially see our first issue. I've put Mount as the right winger because this is what I think is going to happen. But that is still partly hopium. This is what I think is going to happen. Based on the reports, Mason Mount is sort of he's back in training now, and he's working his way towards fitness. He will be most likely almost 100% fit by the time the Bayern Munich game rolls around. But due to the situation with Sancho, who's been banned now, We won't talk about him now, Mr. Scapegoat. We won't talk about Sancho. But there's also the issue with Anthony. Again, we ain't talking about that on this stream right now. Leaves a vacant spot there, which for me, that is a Pelestri-sized hole. But I believe, based off what Ten Hag has showed us, the way he operates, he'll either put Mount or Bruno there. Living off hopium, of Mount to be on the right wing. Why would we put our chief creator, statistically the best chance creator in the Premier League since he's come, why would we put him out to the right hand side, nullifying his greatest qualities for Mount, who's not done anything in the United shirt yet? But I just think Bruno will get shifted out to the right, just like he did throughout last season whenever we needed it. I want Mount to play on the right. I believe Bruno will be there. Sad to say. If we quickly just discuss now the potential inclusion of Maguire. Mr. I have nothing to prove. That's what I'm going to call him from now on. Mr. I have nothing to prove. Mr. I need my mom to help me with my battles. This guy's mom's coming out defending him better than he defends for Man United. This is what I mean with this guy. He's potentially going to come back into this game now, and we could see this man get bullied potentially by Evan Ferguson. It's very likely. I mean, he's a good striker. I've seen Evan Ferguson do good things against better defenders. Why couldn't Evan Ferguson come in and make Maguire look an idiot? Not that he struggles with making himself look an idiot, but Evan Ferguson could have a right run around with this guy. I'm hoping and praying that Martinez is somewhat fit. I'm hoping and praying, but I highly doubt it, that Varane is somewhat fit. I do think Varane may be back. I don't know if he's in training or not. I feel like he will be back for the Bayern Munich game, but this may be just a game too soon for Varane's inclusion. We may see Maguire, Lindelof back in this game, again running back Ollie at the wheel settings. And it could be curtains for us defensively. We really may have to bank in this game on Rashford and the likes of Hoijlund getting us goals this match, because with the weakened centre-back partnership, we may need to outscore Brighton. Easier said than done, since United don't score many goals at the moment. Hoijlund, he's going to be very, very key in this match. We go on to the next head-to-head battle that we've got for this game. Is very, very important. It's going to be the battle of the young strikers who grew up Man United fans. Evan Ferguson versus Hoijlund. Obviously, I couldn't get him in the red kit because he hasn't even played in the red kit yet, because he came injured, but that's a story for another day as well. Man United's ownership, how we work, how we operate. We won't get into that now though. Evan Ferguson versus Hoijlund. Both very similar. Both tall, young, powerful strikers. Both for their height, got some technical ability about them. I'd say, based on what I've seen in terms of just attributes, obviously Hoijlund's got a bag of more pace. Evan Ferguson, you could argue, is probably the better finisher at the moment as well. So just a bit of a give and take with both, but these two are definitely key for the match. There are talks about Evan Ferguson. There could be a potential of an injury doubt for him, injury concern. That'd be great for us. All I'm saying is, Evan, if you're watching this, yeah, you please duck this game, just like you ducked us in the semi-final of the FA Cup. As a United fan, former United fan, it would help us a lot if you chose to duck this game. So please do one for us again. So yeah, it'd be great. I would personally like to see the matchup anyway. It's good to see. It'd be good to see these two young strikers going head to head versus each other. See who comes out on top. My money obviously is going to be on Hoijlund coming out on top. His little cameo against Arsenal was good to see. And I'm just banking on another good performance, but this time a full home debut, 90 minutes in his bag, and just a lot more things to come from Hoijlund. That's what I'm hoping for. This is going to be a game that is going to be a big test, big test for us because of the form of Brighton and our perceived lack of form. According to the media, currently it seems as if woe is Man United, and apparently we're finished. We're looking like we're finished at the moment. Only time will tell with how things end up. It's just To be honest, yeah, just a lot of issues coming at the club, making things difficult. But at the end of the day, I do believe that Man United will get the victory in this game, and there will be a performance. That's the main thing. We're a team that's been able and to routinely scumbag wins across the last couple of years. I believe that we won't just win, we'll win pretty comfortably, and there'll be a performance behind it. One which people stand up and say, whoa, I was not expecting this. I thought because of all the stuff in the media, Man United were finished, we were done, curtains, not going to finish top 4. I believe we go out today and put them in the pack. Very simple. You've already seen the title of this video. Matoma in a spliff, gone. Evan Ferguson, whether he plays, gone, locked up. I'm praying Pelestri starts as opposed to Mount on the right wing, and he cooks Estupinian. This is another guy that's been getting a lot of praise, a lot of plaudits. I'm hoping he gets cooked. We will win. It will be comfortable, and I will go for a 2-0 victory for Man United with goals from Hoijlund and Rashford. Rashford tends to score at home, and Hoijlund, I believe he gets his debut goal today. They managed to continue the trend of Man United players debuting versus Arsenal of scoring, but I do think on his full home debut, Bruno will create for him. We all know Bruno creates every match. He's inevitable in that sense. He will create something for Hoijlund. He will put in the back of the net. We will win 2-0. That's my prediction for the game, lads. Head-to-head battles. Mitoma versus Wan-Bissaka. We all know who's coming out on top. Evan Ferguson, Hoijlund. Gotta hope and pray. Hoijlund on top once again. Post for me down in the comment section what you guys think the score will be. Your score predictions, your key battles, and also the key talking point as well. Of course, we understand that Sancho has been suspended for this game. The statement just came out earlier today. He is suspended, so he will not be playing. No chance of that happening. No chance of the Bayern Munich game, I'm sure of that as well. Whether he's deserving to be included in that game, most likely not anyway. But if the news hadn't broke that he was suspended, would you guys have played Sancho, irrespective of what's happened? Tell me down below what you would have done. Again, score predictions, your opinions on Sancho, and how you think these head-to-head battles will go. Tell me in the comment section below, guys.